Hey Jose, how are you? It's so great
Hi.
to have you here.
Thank
Um,
you for having me. It's an honor.
Thank you. Thank you. So how is everything for you during this quarantine?
To be honest, weird. I mean, I think I'm with a lot of people that haven't been stuck at home for the last 2 months, and as far as we can all remember. So it's a bit of an adjusting period, but so far so good. I mean, nothing to complain about. Very comfortable, but
That's
yeah, kind of weird.
What have you been up to during this whole quarantine? I mean, like you're so used to being outside. I mean, we work together, right? So
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, again, it took a bit of getting used to having to find ways to stay productive being home, finding ways to still work and contact clients and stay active, work out despite being in the same place 24 hours a day. But yeah, so far so good. It's been a very interesting time of like self reflection. Time for yourself as well. I've been able to get back into reading a few books lately, which I haven't done in quite some time. So yeah, it's been interesting.
Beautiful, beautiful. So what have you been reading? I mean, when did we do our coaching the last time? I mean, that was like how many years ago?
Yeah, it's been a very long time actually. The two books I've read so far have been The Richest Man in Babylon. It's a very interesting financial book. If you haven't read it, that'll be a good read. And then so far, I'm reading The Art of War by Sun Tzu, which is also very interesting. Yeah, but a few other business books. I borrowed a few books from our office mates as well. So yeah, getting there little by little.
Wonderful. Okay, so tell me your story. I mean, okay, nobody knows you on my feed at the moment. So I want people to know who you are. Like we've known each other for 20 years. How exciting is that? You know, I came back from where was it? Malaysia at the time and we went to San Agustin, was it? Or something like that? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Tell me. Okay. So from that time, we had been I remember like I was going through photos and all this stuff,
Yep.
right? And then what happened? Like you popped in and out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, San Agustin High School, that was what, more than 15 years ago. So, of course, lots have changed since then. But more or less, yeah, the story being, I mean, after college, got into real estate in 2010. So, a little bit more than 10 years ago now. Um, yeah, it's been a very interesting journey, I guess you can say. Not all good times. I mean, there are a lot of challenges and still challenging even today. We still all have those ups and downs, like we like to talk about in the industry. But definitely, the challenges were much more difficult in the beginning, and not just career-wise. It was also personally with family members and my grandfather. At one point, got very ill and passed away in 2016, which was a very hard time for the entire family, not for myself, and because he was also a business partner of mine, that hit me uh, in the career side also. But overall, the journey has been good. I mean, I'm still here today, and looking back at it, despite things being difficult, it helped me grow, I guess, as a person. Nothing makes you harder than getting through difficult times, and nothing teaches you better life lessons and give you more motivation and positivity than being able to get over these mountains in your life or these difficult situations in your life. So yeah, I mean, looking back at the last 10 years, um, what can I say? It's been a very crazy but good, very good journey. I think for you and for me as well.
So how did you become a coach? Like now, I mean, my goodness, it's been an amazing 20 years. Here you are now. You have this whole team, Remax Capital, right? One of the, if not, I mean, from my opinion, the biggest and the best in the
Absolutely.
Philippines, right? Yeah. I mean, not just because I work there, but because, like, seriously, right? Tell
Uh,
tell me your story. It's so exciting.
yeah, becoming a coach was quite a process. I mean, to be honest, when when I first thought of the idea, I didn't really want to do it. It wasn't in my like level of comfortability, right? My comfort zone. So at first, my first instinct was maybe not. I'll just stick to being a real estate agent and just keep on doing the transactions and not having to, help people or coach in that aspect. But it's funny, like the more and more that I got into it, the more and more that I had experience in it, the more and more I found that it was actually to my calling, and I'm quite good at it at the end, right? In terms of teaching people how to do the business of real estate. So yeah, again, it was part of my journey, part of my learning process, I guess you can say. But at the end of the day, all I can do is teach. I mean, do my best to teach what I know, and I'll be the first to admit I don't know everything. I'm trying to learn as well as I go along. I mean, there's so many other great coaches, not just in our office, but in the entire real estate industry in the Philippines and around the world, right? So trying to learn from all these masters as well, as I grow myself, and I'm kind of like a student and a coach at the same time. And I'm sure all these coaches, even these real estate mentors, feel the same way, that they're still also learning from the people around them, getting better and better as they go along.
How exciting. That's all I have to say. I mean, so, okay, tell me a little bit about like your family. So you guys have been living in the Philippines. What is your lineage? I mean, like you look very interesting. I'm sure people are probably wondering like where you're from, because I mean, yeah, you're Filipino, but what's that?
At this point, I am third generation Filipino.
Wow.
Both my grandparents are Indian. They were born in India.
Mm-hmm.
This was the time before the partition of Pakistan and India. So it was just one big subcontinent at that time in the 1930 something. They both moved here when they were like 3, 4 years old with their parents. Again, during the Civil War, etc. Partition happened. So they were basically raised Filipino. Um, all their kids were born here as well. So my mother was born here, raised here, being a Filipino citizen herself, not even learning how to speak Hindi or Sindhi. And myself, my siblings, my cousins were all born and raised here. So end of the day, I'm half Indian, half Filipino, but I feel fully Filipino. I'm a Filipino citizen, not an Indian citizen. I don't speak Hindi or Sindhi myself. I went to school here, raised here, learned and grew up Catholic, for example, not Hindu. So for all intents and purposes, I'm Filipino through and through.
That's super cool. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so tell me about your coaching journey. Like, how did you begin? How did you start? I mean, I remember you were telling me you used to be part of a company that was actually where you were a trainer, right? Do you remember the name of the company?
Yeah, so before I got to real estate, this was 2007. I was with a call center called Kelos International, a Canadian phone company, basically. So I was an agent for 1 year doing the calls and answering the client's queries, etc. And then for the last 2 years that I was there, I was a training officer. So training the new hires the skills they need to take the calls and be in customer service for that company, right? And it was really good experience for me because I was just like a teacher, a classroom setting, have 30, 40 adult students going through lessons every day for a few weeks, and then giving them exams, giving them tests, and then finally seeing them graduate, right? But real estate, I guess, was very different. I mean, for one, the career, the industry is totally different. It's much more personal, face-to-face, hands-on versus, looking at a computer screen 8 hours a day in a call center.
Mm-hmm.
So my coaching journey specifically with real estate was like one student at first, and that became 2 students, and that became 3 students and 4 students, and just little by little over the 10 years, that team kind of grew and grew into what it is today. And we're now a team of 10 in our team, and in the office we have about 60 other agents as well. So that's about 6 other teams in the entire office, and everyone's kind of like mingling and matching and doing their best to jive and work together within the teams as well.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so tell me, So you joined a coaching event. Tell me about this coaching event that you joined.
The coaching event was, you're talking about Kevin Green?
No, tell me like how like you even got into this like whole coaching thing. Like why did you get, I mean, I remember like we were hanging out and I was like, come, let's go do this, right? But I remember like what propelled you to want to go?
I guess the idea for me really, until today, it's the same motivation. It's sort of like a pay it forward concept, right? And then the day, despite things being hard at the start and getting over them, I still feel like I was always blessed throughout the way. You know, when every time that I needed something or really wanted something, one way or another, it came to me at the end of the day. And me being a coach is kind of like my way of helping the people also who are in that same circle who are trying to learn, right? Kind of like a pay it forward for them, um, doing my best to give back what I can so they can also grow, achieve their dreams, achieve their goals, you know, be where they want to be in their real estate careers, which in the end also helps you because it feels very rewarding for me when I'm able to see, you know, my teammates, my mentees hit their targets, you know, achieve their dreams, achieve their goals, being able to raise the families they want, you know, find love, what have you, purchase the dream car, the dream house, or dream condo that they've always envisioned in themselves. That motivation has really gone throughout the years in being able to pay that forward and, you know, give back the little that I can into helping these agents find their own blessings in their own way.
Amazing. Okay, so you joined somebody called Kevin Green, right? And you had a coach. What was his name?
Nas.
Nas.
Nas from Malaysia, yeah.
Malaysia, right? Okay. And what did you get from that? I remember, like, I mean, we both had our own separate coaching with it, but like, imagine, like, I remember we had to write our own statements, right? Yeah. And the process of that, very interesting, right?
Yeah, with the visions in the start.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
I mean, again, what really stuck with me?
Feel that that helped you? Do you feel that helped you?
I mean, from what I remember the most from that entire process was when we first started doing the coaching with Kevin Green's company and Nasrul from Malaysia. The first thing he said was, "This is going to be a journey. Right? It's going to be a continual process of evolution for you." And again, when I look back of who I was back then and who I am today, and who I'll be in the next, you know, 5, 10 years, it was true to what he said. It's been a continuous evolution and changing process. So, you know, putting in, I remember in the beginning, apart from him saying that it's going to be a journey, make your mission, make your personal vision for yourself. Where do you want to be? What goals do you have in the next 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? And then like keep track of that vision and see if you're actually on the right track as the years go along. Um, and if I look back then, it was kind of like I was still finding my way, a little bit lost, a little bit wanting, you know, with
What
100.
was life like then? When you were lost, what was life like then?
Well, this was a time in my life when financially I was in not the best place.
Mhm.
This was a time when my grandfather, right, who was my mentor in 2016, and before that, just had passed away. So again, this big void on the family side, career side. It was also a time when, because of his medical condition over the years, I accumulated quite a lot of debt. I think it came out to about 5 million pesos.
Which is around how much US? It's around
about 100,000 US dollars.
dollars. Yeah, yeah. And you paid it off all yourself.
Took a while. Yes, it took a few years actually of slowly, you know, just grinding it out and paying it as best as I could get. But eventually, I think it took about 3 years. I was able to finally complete the entire payment. But at that time, you know, not even being 30 years old, um, being single, and having this debt looming over me, and felt like this massive weight on my shoulders every single day. And at the same time, not having these free flowing transactions, not having these deals and commissions just coming in, even not knowing where I'm going to get the next payment to, pay my rent, pay my power bill, or even, buy my groceries. Where am I going to get the money to eat lunch or dinner that evening? It was really a very stressful period at the time. So, combining the coaching that we got from this mentor, Nasrul, and just him constantly saying, just don't give up, keep on keeping on, stay positive, just do your best to brainwash yourself, to stay motivated. Um, at the same time, literally brainwashing myself to listen to positive motivational material on YouTube, listening to speakers, listening to people like, Tony Robbins, just constantly giving yourself those feelings of, I can do it, I can get through this every single day for imagine 3 years at the time. And even till today, I still do it.
Right.
That was my secret of how I got through my difficult stage, my dark days, pushing out those thoughts of just give up, just quit, forget real estate, go to becoming an employee, just earning a month by month salary. Whether I do great, whether I do terrible, it's the same amount day in, day out. Not giving into those feelings, not giving into those thoughts, right? Those insecurities, and just like muscling through those hard times and just chipping away little by little into that. For me, it was a massive amount of debt. 5 million pesos was huge, right? I've never had that amount of money at that time, and at the same time, owing someone that amount of money was just mind blowing for me. So just fighting through that slowly, again, paying it as best I could every single month, whether it was just 10,000 pesos or 50,000 pesos, whatever I could do just to put that away and pay it off as little as I could, until finally at the end of the 3 years, it was, by the grace of God, fully paid off. And it felt like, honestly, I remember the day it happened, I almost cried. It was a huge relief, a massive, again, weight off my shoulders, just knowing that it was kind of like back to zero. The feeling for me was like clean slate. It's like God gave me a fresh start. And finally now, at the time I was 32 years old when I finally paid it off. It was like, wow, only now I can breathe. Only now I can start building the foundation of what my life is really supposed to be. Getting over this massive mountain of a challenge.
Amazing. Okay, so I mean, my background, right? Like I also was a trainer and always wanting to do all this stuff, and here I am today. I'm a coach, right?
Congratulations.
And oh my goodness, it's been like Christ, right? Like
you can share with us as well, like what was your journey, what was your motivation in getting into this yourself?
Oh, my motivation is just I like helping people. That's all that it is. I hate seeing people suffering, and it's like that's just really it, and yeah, imagine that, like doing all of that and finally making waves in the field that I want to make waves in, right? And then still being of service, for example, to companies like yours. I mean, you are one of the owners, correct? Right? Yeah. I mean, if people look at the papers, you're all over the papers, right? You're everywhere. Yeah. That is something from somebody that went from having a debt to now being somebody that's guiding other people. That's an amazing feat, don't you agree? I mean, like modesty aside, right? What exactly did you need to experience so that you could get to this side and now be in this position?
One of the motivations that really got me through it was that I also knew, and listening to all these, motivational speakers, their stories, their struggles, that 100 million other people have done what I've done. There are even people today who are still doing it. Having financial difficulties much larger than what I experienced, and finding ways to get through them have happened to so many other people. And my thought was like, if they can do it, why can't I do it? And everyone says the same thing. It's like, I'm not special. And honestly, I feel like I'm not special at all. I'm just a common Joe, any other guy you'd see in the street, right? So if this non-special people can say, I've done it, I've seen hundreds of other people do it, much more difficult situations and still get through it. I really have no excuse to say I can't do it myself, right? If you have that self-belief, um, and you just don't give up on yourself and give up on um, that goal that I can get through this and I can make my life better, right? And don't succumb to the difficulties, then you're always on the right track if that's your mindset, right? You're always going to be positive. You're always going to get somewhere better if you just don't give up and don't let the pressure beat you down, right? So that was really what kept on pushing me forward and making me go through. Again, when I had those days when I just wanted to give up and just say, forget it, it's over. Like I'll just tell the guy I can't do it or whatever, right? I just kept on remembering that there's so many other people who've gone through it, who've been able to do it. And if they can do it, I can do it. And that's it. No matter how difficult it is, if they can do it, I should be able to do it. There should be no excuse why I can't do it.
Right. Cool. So, okay, tell me, how old are you? And my goodness, like you're on top, and you're guiding a shitload of people. Like,
well, turning 34 years old in exactly a month from today. Well, again, I feel like at this point, I'm still learning, still growing as well. I feel like my life is going to be long and changing, ever changing as it goes. If I can use the last, at this point, 34 years of my life as a guide, then for sure the next 34, the next 60, 70 years will be quite an experience for me, ever changing. Who knows what um, will suddenly pop out and what are the experiences I'm going to go through. I definitely don't expect that what I went through in the past, getting through that financial difficulty and emotional situation with my grandfather passing away, is the worst thing I'm going to go through. I totally expect that I'm going to have much more bigger challenges in the future and be tested by God a lot more times as the years go on. And that was kind of like a preview of, a smaller mountain that's going to become maybe a larger mountain and a larger mountain from there of different experiences, different challenges, different tests, basically, that I'm going to have to grow and change and, get better and find ways to get through them as I did in the past and will have to do in the future. And again, the motivation is always going to be that people have gone through these difficult situations before. And there should be no reason why them not being special and me being just the same, I should also be able to get through these difficult situations, whatever life can throw me, something that we should be able to get through together.
so it seems to me that you really have a positive mindset. Yeah? Yeah? The mind is very strong in this one. As Star Wars says, right?
It's a work in progress, to be honest. Like you have, for me, I believe that the mind is kind of designed to be more negative than it is normally positive. If you look at many people out there, a lot of people, it becomes like second nature to badmouth or to say a more negative thing or to criticize, for example. And I see that, and I think a lot of people see the same thing. It's kind of like human nature that people are designed to be more negative. The mind is designed to capture more and remember more negativity. An example I usually use is people never forget when you do something bad, and they never remember when you do something good. And that's just human nature. People are just like that, right? They can know the times that you messed up, but they can't even remember one time when you did something good for them. So for me, it's like me knowing that, or at least believing that, I always do my best to condition my brain every single day to think positively, to absorb what's good and what I'm grateful for. Yeah, small things, grateful for the food I have in my plate or having a roof over my head or having a good night's sleep. the night before, having, money in my bank account, being able to buy the groceries or travel or whatever other small things that I have in my life that I know so many other people don't. Um, and again, daily conditioning yourself that you are blessed. You have to be grateful. You have to be positive. You have to think and feel positive. Because I know if I just let my mind be on its own and do what it wants, it's going to sway towards that negativity. So, advice being for anyone out there who has that feeling of, um, negativity and feeling a bit more anxious, especially in this time of crisis during COVID, being locked down and maybe having some financial difficulties, you have to remember that you have to brainwash yourself every single hour of every single day to remain positive all the time.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, so what's next for you, Jose? I mean, like, okay, you are the director of training for Remax Capital, which is a company that is dominating the industry in the Philippines when it comes to real estate, right? From what I know and from what I've gathered, I've actually, realized that the Philippines is one of the best places to invest in at the moment, right? Things are stable, correct? Yeah.
Stay stable. Yeah.
In order, yeah, like we're really getting things in order. We're both in this country, we're able to go out, we're able to do our work, and it's given the situation. I mean, not only that, the most beautiful part is that you do have people actually closing deals, right? Yeah.
Um, I think everyone is in real estate right now is excited. I mean, a better sense of the word, excited to see how the market will react after the lockdown is lifted, right? I mean, if the news is accurate, we should be going into GCQ by hopefully next Monday, which is general community quarantine, right? So it's basically it's a relaxing of the lockdown rules, allowing more business to start operations, allowing offices to reopen, allowing more people to move freely, allowing public transportation to operate, which means people can move around the city more, employees can get to the office and back home. After that, viewings, for example, for properties can start happening again. Meeting clients, for example, can resume to some extent, depending on the number of people in the given meeting. So, I mean, for me, and everyone in Remax Capital at this point is really excited to see how it's going to really pan out and how the prices of property are either going to go up, are they going to go down, are the buyers going to be as motivated to purchase, are the sellers going to be as driven to sell, and at what prices, how those deals are going to be flowing, are the tenants and the landowners or the unit owners still going to be as keen to lease or maybe even get discounts in the prices of their properties. Because I mean, for the past 10 years, ever since I started real estate, it's been an upward market. Prices have only gone up. They haven't ever gone down. And when prices go up, it's always an owner's market. Owners dictate the prices for sale. Owners dictate the prices for rent. And if you're a buyer or a tenant, the only way you're going to be able to purchase is if you agree to the price, whether to rent or to buy. And maybe now that cycle, which real estate's always a cycle, that cycle will now finally shift because the economic downturn is going to probably kick in after the lockdown is lifted. Prices will maybe start to go down, which may give the buyers the upper hand into demanding what they feel is fair in terms of what they're going to pay to purchase property or to lease properties. And now, for the first time in 10 years, it'll be the sellers who will have to adjust their prices to match the buyers' demands to finally sell their properties or lease their properties. And I haven't ever seen that in the Philippine setting. From what I can gather from other countries like the US or in Europe, because I mean they were in quite a long recession, a lot of brokers, the ones who thrived in those countries like the US and Europe, when it was a buyer's market, when property prices went down, they actually said, you know what, we were able to earn more commissions in a down market because now the sales maybe weren't as expensive. Property prices were lower than what they sold for before prices shifted. But because of the sheer volume of the sales, we were able to close maybe twice as much, 3 times as much deals in 1 month. And because of this rapid closing and this much more quantity of closing, the commission just amounted to so much more for us during that cycle of sales in real estate. So again, not ever seeing that in the Philippine setting, from the people I talk to here, again, the idea, the feeling is excitement of how it's really going to pan out. And if it does shift to a buyer's market, will that mean more sales? Will that mean more deals? Will that mean more commissions for the agents who stick it through, from end to end?
Amazing, 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 amazing. Wow. The knowledge you have
at this point.
The knowledge you have. I mean, my goodness. It's like you're 34, but it's like I'm talking to this this man that is just so full of amazing, amazing things to impart people.
Thank you so much.
Exciting. Okay, so what's next? So you just recently got married, am I not mistaken? Yeah, yeah, to your beautiful wife, Galina. Yeah. How did you meet? I mean, like, how did this all happen? Like, was it intentional or you just made it like it just?
I mean, it was totally random the way it happened, but I guess in hindsight, for me, it was kind of like a meant to be kind of feeling. So yeah, we got married a year ago, March. So we had our 1-year anniversary just a few months ago. In lockdown, actually. So we just had dinner on the balcony as our 1-year anniversary dinner because everything was closed, right?
You live in one of the most amazing places in the Philippines, don't you?
BGC is quite nice. We have a nice view of the balcony. The setting was beautiful. It was a nice, cool night. Moon was out. Summertime, so it was nice and warm. And it was really beautiful. We had candles just sitting in the balcony.
Nice glass of wine, yeah?
We haven't been drinking, actually. So,
oh, wow.
That wasn't there, but we had juice instead of wine, which was nice for a change. But yeah, so to go back to the story, I mean, it was just, I remember it really well. Sunday night, right? Sunday night and work the next day. So I was at a friend's house, few drinks with some friends Sunday night. Had a friend visiting from Europe, I think. So we were at a friend's house. And then it was about maybe 10 or 11 p.m. Brilliant idea to go to BGC, to go to a bar. They had this one bar there called Palace Pool Club, which had these really good Sunday night like meetup sessions, good music, DJ, drinks, yada yada.
Like early afternoon kind of vibe, like you're at the beach, right?
Early afternoon, but it goes till the wee hours in the morning, right? And this was already, I think, 10, 11 p.m. And again, my first instinct was, no, I'm not going to go. I mean, I have work in the morning. I wake up early, be in the office. So Sunday night, drink all night, not the best idea, right? So first I was like, no, I'm not going to go. And my friend who was visiting was like, just one drink, just come for one drink, and that's it, you can go home. So I go for one drink, and that's where my wife...
That's back in the day, right? We had a lot of freedom.
That's where my wife-to-be was with her best friend, right? So at that point, I think it was already maybe midnight at the point that I saw her. I was probably already half drunk at that point. She was sitting at the table with her friend. So I just grabbed one of my guy friends, my single guy friends, and I'm like, let's go talk to those two girls. You know what I mean? And again, when I think back at it, if I didn't go to BGC, to that bar that night, if I went with my first instinct of, I have work the next day, I'm just gonna go home, maybe I wouldn't have ever met her, who knows? So again, the feeling was like, wow, it was really meant to be there. I was supposed to be at that bar. She was supposed to be at that bar. We were really supposed to meet that night, kick everything off, and the rest being history. So yeah, it was funny. It's like the stars aligned really at that point.
Beautiful, beautiful. Amazing, amazing. I'm going to have to post a picture of the two of you because you guys have some of the most beautiful photos. Yeah. Okay. So how can people find you if they want to learn what you do?
I mean, it's a bunch. You can normally message in terms of texting, calling, or emailing me, but I'm also on Facebook. Jose Sehwani Gonzales is my Facebook name. I'm also on Instagram, at Jose.Sehwani Gonzales. So yeah, anyway, you guys wanna message me, call me, email me, Facebook, Instagram.
Like a group or like a training program that people can learn through? I mean, I'm sure there are like a ton of aspiring young people out there that want to, be of a great effect on this nation.
Absolutely. Well, Remax Capital does every Monday, we do a Monday mindset, which are opening to anyone who's interested at this point, being locked down, to add value and train and help as much as we can. So every Monday, 3 p.m., contact me or contact Danielle, and we're more than happy to join our Monday mindsets. And anything we can do to help and assist, and maybe even join Remax Capital in the future, be very interesting for everyone.
Amazing, amazing. So you have an Instagram page, you have your Facebook, then you have an email that you might want to pop in later and put that down, and I can, write it.
Sure.
Exciting. And then every Monday, what time's your Monday mindset? 3:00, right?
Every Monday, 3 p.m., 3 to 5 p.m. We usually have a developer doing a certain presentation. We have a guest speaker who will do the training proper, different topics under the sun. Some are within capital, some are guest speakers that we have that talk about whatever they're expert in. So it's very interesting. We have all different points of view, all different careers and industries giving their insight of what they think will happen with the market, or tips and tricks of how to succeed in certain industries. So, anything that can help in the real estate industry, we're always welcome to having during the Monday Mindset. So yeah, guys, join us if you're free. It'd be amazing to have you.
Amazing. That's okay. One last saying about what coaching is to you and why you really believe that coaching is something for everybody to get into. If that's, your niche, for example. Your niche is real estate, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, for me, it's something that the sculptor, painter extraordinaire Michelangelo said when he was already in his 80s. His inscribed to him was, "I am still learning." I mean, Michelangelo being one of the most world-renowned painters, sculptors in the entire world history, said, "I am still learning." So for every mentee, for every mentor, for every trainer and trainee and coach out there, that's what I would always want someone, including myself, to keep in mind. That we can always get better, we can always learn, we can always grow, and do our best to learn from the people around us. Because times are always changing. Technology, the industry, the world is ever evolving. The last 2 months have been testament to that. That for me as a broker who's always been face-to-face, hands-on, everything paper and pen, all of a sudden because of lockdown, had to completely pivot the business into everything being on Zoom, digital, e-signatures, everything, soft copies. It completely changed, and God knows how it's going to change in the future. So then, now in the future, I, for one, am still learning.
Things are moving quick, huh? Yeah. And now, like, even lawyers are allowing like e-signatures and all that. Like, we're really like upping our game. It's so awesome. It's really brilliant, amazing. So, Jose, Coach Jose, congratulations. I'm so excited.
Thank you very much, Coach Danielle, for having me.
Thank you. No worries. I'm so excited to see what's in store after, like everything is said and done. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon, Jose.
Definitely.
Bye.
See you guys.